Love and light, brothers and sisters. So I wanted to talk a little bit about the emotional components of addiction, and how some of these addictions get so bad without us realizing it, And to understand this, first of all, we need to understand that emotions are energy. Okay? This is energy you're feeling. Just like a thought is energy, emotions are an energy, and they're much more intense than thoughts. That's why they can be so hard to deal with and so intense for us to feel within our body. Emotions are felt they're perceived and felt both within the mental body and the physical body, and they connect to the soul level. So the emotional body connects to all these bodies, so you can get emotions directly from the soul level, you can get emotions from the physical level, you can get emotions from the mental level. An emotional reaction or an energetic reaction. Now, when we have emotional responses that we don't find pleasant, that don't feel good in our physical body, or which can't process properly in our mental body, in our mind, then we suppress them, okay? Now, what most people don't understand, because they're just thinking, or just reacting to the feeling of unpleasantness, of anxiety, of fear, of stress, of anger, whatever it is, by pushing it away. To us, it feels like I don't want to deal with that. I don't want to deal with that. But what we're actually doing is pushing that down within us, because it's our emotion. So we're externalizing it, first of all, because we're feeling the emotion based on generally something happening in the environment. Now, first of all, this may not even be correct, because we may be getting this emotional response from an actual karmic level. It may be coming from a higher level of the emotional body connected to the ego of past lives, right? So this may be coming from an aspect of the soul, or a level of the soul, which is moving from life to life and carrying karma. So this may be a karmic pattern coming up, which one wouldn't understand in the present life context. That sounded really complex, but just for instance, someone triggers you and let's say someone calls you fat, right? But you're a skinny person, right? But suddenly you get incredibly mad, and you don't understand why it upsets you so much that they called you this, because you're not fat, right? So some people may just say, well, that's a silly reaction, and release it, and then that past life karma has been healed, because it didn't affect the new personality the way it did in the past life. But if that triggered feeling does affect the person, if this person still has a weight problem, for instance, and it does trigger them, then they may push it down because it feels uncomfortable, and then this just keeps carrying it forward. Now, this is what's really important to understand here, again, because as we said, this is the energy. So if we are pushing energy down into our body and suppressing it, this is our energy that is being held away from us. That's vital. That means every time that you suppress an emotion, you become a little bit less powerful as a being. You take some of your creative life force and store it away somewhere for some time. And not only do you store it away, but you store it away in a disharmonious frequency. So think how often people do this. This may happen 100 times a day. So every time this is done, someone then moves forward in life carrying a stronger and stronger negative energetic body within them. So their energetic, their emotional body, their mental body, their physical body all end up containing a bunch of energy that is antithetical to their soul and life's purpose. And so everything they do is a fight, is a battle, is a conflict, because they're fighting all these past elements they had not dealt with. Now, that being said, and now that picture I hope is clear, if we look at the way one becomes addicted to substances generally, let's just take alcohol for instance. If we look at the social mechanisms of how one becomes addicted to alcohol, so let's look at going to bars, going to parties, So in the beginning, the drinking may be fun, it may be a social thing, but pretty soon when one starts dealing with life problems and emotional experiences that are not pleasant, then not only do they suppress them, but then they cover them with the drinking. Well, let's just go out and get drunk. Let's go to the bar, you know. And this is becomes a society, a socially acceptable way to deal with these things together. So now we have large groups of people all hiding and suppressing their emotions together by going out and covering it with this substance. So not only are they becoming physically addicted to the substance, but they are adding to this emotional suppression every time, and connecting it to the substance. So they're empowering this archetype, if you will, of alcohol, which you can think of an entity in a sense, because all this energy is being given over to it. And they're also suppressing their emotional body and creating conflicts within themselves. And because you're intoxicated, so normally when you suppress an emotion, because you may do it daily, and it's like it piles on top. Every one is a layer in your subconscious of energy that's being stored. So if you keep doing this daily, a few years down the road, you have no idea why you feel terrible, because you've suppressed so many different things. So there's so much that's out of whack now from different times of suppression that you have no idea where to start unraveling it. So this problem is magnified when we think that we're becoming less conscious through the drug or alcohol use. So we're less conscious of our suppression even more. So it just becomes a long period of suppression and drinking and becoming less conscious of ourselves until eventually we're completely lost in a maze of our own messy creations, you know. And this goes for any addiction, and it just gets worse and worse, you know, the stronger the substance is at blocking the emotional feelings. So yeah, you can see the cost here of suppressing emotions is extreme. It's extreme, and it's pretty much the cause of all the trouble in our lives, you know. So love and light.